Hey there, lovelies! Get ready for a wild ride in the heart of Manhattan's high society. We're jumping into a story that's all about a sizzling arranged marriage and a billionaire setup, flipping from enemies to lovers, and it's got a protagonist with a panty-melting nickname, Mia Khera. Buckle up because we're talking King of Wrath by Anna Huang today. King of Wrath is part of the Kings of Sin series, 407 on Goodreads and 4.4 on Amazon. Great introductory book to spicy romance. First thing first, spicy chapters. Alert. Chapter 13, library scene. Chapter 19, the Bali scene. Chapter 24, home run. Chapter 27, limo scene. Chapter 40, garden scene. And we are going to take a challenge to cover the story in less than 20 minutes. Let's get started. Meet Vivian Lau, a top-notch luxury event planner and the daughter of a jewelry magnate, whose world is about to be turned upside down. In a shocking twist, Vivian finds herself in an arranged marriage with the mysterious billionaire Dante Russo, CEO of the Russo Group. Talk about a power couple. First meeting. Picture this. Vivian's at a fancy dinner with her family when her father drops the bombshell. She's getting hitched to Dante. Vivian's not thrilled, to say the least. As an heiress, she's used to the pressure of maintaining her family's status, but this takes the cake. When Dante shows up, the tension is so thick, you could cut it with a knife. Vivian puts on a brave face and greets him politely, but inside she's screaming.
Vivian. My mother disguised her rebuke as my name. Right. Dinner. Fiancé. Meeting. I shook myself out of my stupor and summoned a strained but polite smile. Vivian Lau, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Vivian's not one to sit back and let things happen, so she crashes Dante's private art exhibition like a boss. The scene is electric as Dante stalks towards her, parting the crowd like the Red Sea. Vivian's heart is racing, but she stands her ground.
Your invitation isn't what's lost, Mia Khera.
The velvety endearment would have been swoon-worthy had it not been for the darkness seething beneath the surface. He didn't touch the offered drink.
What are you doing here?
But Vivian's not backing down. She demands proper communication and courtesy in their arranged engagement. She hands him her card and expects details about moving into his penthouse. Game on, Dante. Oh, snap! I forgot to mention the juicy details behind the arranged marriage. So, the reason Dante and Vivian were forced to tie the knot in the first place? It all comes down to Dante's little bro, Luca, and his secret fling with Maria Romano. Now, Maria's not just any ordinary gal, she's the niece of a big-shot mafia don. Talk about a forbidden romance. But wait, it gets even more scandalous. Vivian's dear old dad, Francis Lau, somehow gets wind of Luca and Maria's hush-hush affair. And what does he do with this information? He straight up blackmails Dante into marrying Vivian to keep Luca's indiscretion under wraps. Talk about a shotgun wedding. Of course, poor Vivian is kept in the dark about all this drama. She has no idea that her fairy tale romance with Dante is actually a carefully orchestrated scheme to save Luca's bacon. This revelation adds a whole new layer of complexity to Vivian and Dante's relationship. They have to deal with the fact that their union is built on a foundation of secrets and lies. Let's put that on the back burner and chat about it later on. Back to where we were, Vivian's got to figure out how to deal with this arranged marriage bombshell. She leans on her friends for support and throws herself into her work, trying to keep her head above water. But the time comes for her to move into Dante's swanky penthouse, and let me tell you, it's not all roses and champagne. Dante lays down the law, and it's colder than a New York winter.
In public, we'll play the part of a loving couple. We'll attend events together, smile for the cameras, and pretend we like each other. Don't expect dinner dates or sweet nothings at home, Mia Khera, I said, my words as soft and lazy as my touch. You won't get either.
The scene reaches a fever pitch when Dante goes all alpha male, closing his hand around Vivian's throat and demanding her agreement.
Are we clear?
He asks, his voice dripping with warning. But Vivian's no shrinking violet. She fires back with a defiant crystal, hinting that Dante better watch his back. But here's the kicker. Despite his disdain for her family, Dante can't help but be drawn to Vivian's beauty and fiery spirit. The sexual tension is simmering like a pot of marinara sauce ready to boil over. Late one night, Vivian and Dante find themselves in the kitchen, both unable to catch some Z's. Vivian's rocking a silk camisole and boy shorts, looking for a midnight snack, when Dante sneaks up on her like a ninja. Dante's eyes are glued to Vivian's exposed skin, and let me tell you, he's liking what he sees. For once, he's not in his signature suit and tie. Instead, he's wearing a white t-shirt that's hugging his muscles tighter than a koala hugs a tree. Vivian can't help but notice the sculpted planes of his body and his sun-kissed skin. As they chow down on the most unlikely midnight snack combo ever, Pringles, pickles, pudding, and soy sauce drizzled ice cream, don't knock it till you've tried it, they start to let their guards down. Dante spills the tea about his childhood and his beef with his brother, Luca. The conversation starts to flow like honey, and there's a glimmer of hope that these two might actually connect on a deeper level.
I snuck a glance at Dante as he methodically spread a layer of pudding on the last chip, his brow wrinkled in concentration. It was strangely adorable. I almost laughed again when I pictured how he'd react if he found out anyone described him as adorable.
Every good romance needs a little competition to spice things up. And in this case, Kai is the perfect candidate to make Dante's blood boil with jealousy. Vivian and Dante are at a swanky gala event, rubbing elbows with the creme de la creme of high society. Vivian's looking like $1 million in a nude lace dress that's practically screaming, "Look at me!" And boy, does Kai take notice. Kai, with his charming British accent and dashing good looks, can't resist striking up a conversation with Vivian. They're laughing, they're flirting, and they're having a grand old time. But little do they know, Dante's watching from across the room, and he's not happy. Dante's jealousy is bubbling up like a pot of hot lava, ready to erupt at any moment. He can't stand seeing Vivian so friendly and flirtatious with another man. And let's be real, that nude lace dress certainly isn't helping matters. The tension between Dante and Vivian reaches a boiling point in Chapter 13, the infamous Valhalla's library scene. This is where things get really steamy, folks. Dante, unable to control his jealousy any longer, confronts Vivian in the library. The air is thick with tension, both emotional and physical. Dante's eyes are smoldering with a mix of anger and desire, and Vivian's heart is racing like a thoroughbred at the Kentucky Derby.
If you want me to stop, just say the word.
Dante's fingers caressed Vivian's inner thigh. She opened her mouth but couldn't speak.
You can't, can you?
He pushed 2 fingers inside her.
It says you're mine. Give in to it, sweetheart. Let me feel you come all over my hand.
Fuck you.
That's the idea.
After that intimate library encounter, their relationship dynamic is bound to shift. Anything else would be a serious plot hole, am I right? Vivian finds herself staring down the barrel of a gun during a robbery at one of the Russo Group's jewelry stores. Dante, who's supposed to be on a business trip, suddenly shows up at home to check on Vivian. When he asks if she's okay, Vivian breaks down in his arms, crying her eyes out. It's a rare moment of vulnerability for our girl, and it brings them closer together. Dante holds her tight, and Vivian feels like she's drowning in a sea of emotions. She's shaking, her stomach hurts, and her throat is so raw it's painful to breathe. But through it all, Dante doesn't let go. He's like a rock, steady and strong, and Vivian clings to him like he's her lifeline. And Dante's not messing around when it comes to protecting his woman. He goes full-on Godfather on the robbers, especially the one who threatened Vivian. Let's just say they won't be holding up any more jewelry stores anytime soon. Later, in a surprisingly sweet gesture, Dante brings Vivian some soup to help her feel better. It's a small moment, but it speaks volumes about their growing connection. And having Dante confess things in the first-person perspective, a strange tug at my chest, and an unfamiliar fog clouding my brain when he looks at Vivian, is kind of hot. Meeting Dante's parents. Dante and Vivian are in Bali to visit Dante's parents for Thanksgiving. The trip includes meeting Dante's family for the first time under the guise of their engagement. In Bali, Dante starts to open up to Vivian about his difficult childhood being raised by his strict grandfather while his hippie parents traveled the world. And suddenly, his guarded nature starts to make a lot more sense.
Somewhere along the way, Dante Russo had morphed from a caricature of a rich, arrogant CEO into an actual human. One I liked for the most part.
Which leads to the next spicy chapter alert. Chapter 19, the Bali scene. When they were lying in the same bed, staring at each other, couldn't sleep.
We kissed like we were drowning, and the other person was our only source of oxygen. Wild, frantic, desperate.
Keep screaming my name, sweetheart.
Please.
She panted, her grip strangling my hair when I nipped the soft skin of her inner thigh.
No more.
She pleaded.
I can't. Oh God.
Her protest split into another moan when I slid 2 fingers inside her up to the first knuckle.
And you can imagine the rest. But no, Dante hit the brakes because he suddenly remembered who she is and where they are. His plan was to take care of her father and end the engagement. Dante's internal struggle and realization was real.
What the hell was I doing? Kissing Vivian, letting my guard down, almost having sex with her in my parents' villa for Christ's sake.
The sudden drawback leaves Vivian feeling like she just got hit by a train of rejection. Back in the Big Apple, Dante and Vivian try to play it cool as they make the rounds at holiday parties, pretending like everything's peachy keen. But the tension between them is thicker than Grandma's gravy. And here comes our second love rival, and this time for real. The drama unfolds when Vivian gets a bouquet of roses from her ex-boo, Heath, in January. Dante walks in on Vivian and her bestie, Isabella, gossiping about the flowers and goes full-on caveman. He demands to know who sent them, and when Vivian fesses up, Dante's jealousy meter skyrockets. Dante reads the card out loud, dripping with sarcasm.
Thought of you at midnight. Hope you're doing well. Love, Heath.
He's not buying the whole it's harmless thing, and he makes it crystal clear what he thinks Heath was doing while thinking of Vivian at midnight. Yikes. Vivian, fed up with Dante's possessive attitude, claps back. She reminds him that their arranged marriage doesn't give him the right to control her feelings or thoughts. Mic drop. Dante storms off, leaving Vivian drained from their constant emotional tug-of-war. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. Is this where their relationship is heading? But Heath shows up again, this time late at night at their New York home when Dante was away on a business trip. He asks Vivian to postpone the engagement and wait for his company's IPO so she could marry him instead. Dante exploded. He flew back on his private jet immediately and confronted Heath head-on.
She's my fiancée. If you step foot near her again, if you so much as breathe in her direction, I will burn you, your house, and your entire fucking company to the ground.
And he did. Flexes his billionaire muscles and kills Heath's company's IPO. Ouch. All right, folks. This is where things get real between Vivian and Dante. Chapter 24.
Look in the mirror when I'm fucking you.
I was so wet he slid in without much resistance, but the sensation was so sudden and intense I clenched without thinking. The fucking was too intense, and all I wanted was for him to keep going.
Let me chill a bit before we continue. After a steamy night together, Vivian tries to pull a disappearing act, but Dante's not having it. He wants to talk, and boy, do they have a lot to discuss. The morning sun is streaming through the curtains, making Dante look like a golden god. Vivian's nerves are doing the cha-cha in her stomach, but she lays it all out there. It's not just business for you, and it's not just duty for me. Dante's response? A simple but loaded good. The air between them is crackling with tension, and it's not just because of the dry kindling. From there, we see Vivian and Dante navigating their new relationship status. They go on an adorable date to Dante's childhood diner, sharing milkshakes and swapping stories. Vivian keeps it real, telling Dante she likes him for him, not his bank account, even if he can be a pain in the ass sometimes. So they are together. And I have to mention, the spicy limo scene happens at chapter 27. According to Vivian, it was the best one for her. But is it smooth sailing from now on? It all changes after Dante gets a call from his right-hand man, Christian. They've got their hands on all the dirt Francis has been using to blackmail Dante's brother, Luca. Dante's got a real Sophie's choice on his hands. After some serious soul-searching, he decides to have Christian burn the evidence and take Francis's business down in flames. In the pivotal scene, Dante turns his back on the dining room, feeling the icy grip of finality as he seals Francis's fate. Take him down, he says, and you can practically hear the ominous music swelling in the background. And he knows. This could be the nail in the coffin for his budding romance with Vivian.
I couldn't keep her and I couldn't let her go. Not yet. My head or my heart. One of them would win. I just didn't know which one.
Dante's made his bed, but will he be sleeping in it alone? Oh boy. Vivian discovers the ugly truth behind her fairy tale engagement, and it's a doozy. Vivian accidentally eavesdrops on a heated exchange between Dante and her dear old dad. Dante drops the bombshell that Vivian's father blackmailed him into the arranged marriage.
Your father had incriminating photos of my brother.
Dante explains to Vivian.
He would have died if they landed in the wrong hands.
Vivian is absolutely crushed to learn that her romance with Dante was built on a foundation of lies and coercion. She confronts Dante, demanding to know if the past 2 months of bliss were just an act. Dante, in a moment of emotional constipation, tells her it was just business. Ouch! Why our MMC always makes wrong choices? Stick a fork in this relationship because it's done. Then there is a whirlwind of heartbreak and soul-searching for the couple. Vivian packs her bags and crashes with her bestie, Sloane. She mourns the loss of both Dante and her father, who's revealed his true colors. Meanwhile, Dante has a heart-to-heart with Luca, who calls him out for letting his pride and thirst for revenge get in the way of true love.
You love Vivian. I saw it happening even in Bali. But you let her go because of what? Your pride and vengeance? Those things will only get you so far.
The climax comes when Vivian storms into her father's office, guns blazing. She demands answers about the blackmail scheme. But dear old dad is as remorseful as a cat with a canary feather stuck to its whiskers. He insists he did what he had to do to boost the family street cred. When Vivian refuses to play the dutiful daughter and grovel to win Dante back, her father goes nuclear. He disowns her on the spot. Talk about a dysfunctional family.
If you walk out of this office today without making amends for your insolence, you are no longer my daughter. Or allow.
I did everything you've asked of me. I went to the right college, broke up with Heath, and played the role of perfect society daughter. I even agreed to marry a man I barely knew because it would make you happy, but I'm done living my life for you.
Vivian, in a moment of heart-wrenching bravery, chooses to walk away from the only life she's ever known. She reflects on the fact that she's lost everything. Her man, her family, her identity. But she still has herself, and for now, that's going to have to be enough. When Dante finally realizes he could not be without Vivian, he has to fight to get her back. Dante's on a mission to prove his love for Vivian is the real deal. Hurt and betrayed, Vivian breaks off their engagement, but Dante is determined to win her back. In a heartfelt plea, he says,
I love you, Vivian, more than I could ever hate your father, and more than I ever thought I was capable of.
Through a series of thoughtful dates and grand gestures, Dante slowly chips away at Vivian's defenses. Which leads us to the spicy Chapter 40, Garden Scene. The scene that steals the show takes place during their second date after the Legacy Ball, in a secluded corner of the Brooklyn Botanic Garden. Dante, the big bad billionaire, kneeling before Vivian, surrounded by a sea of spring flowers. It's a moment of raw vulnerability and atonement, as Dante worships Vivian's body with his mouth and hands. As he pleases her, Dante whispers heartfelt apologies against her skin.
I'm sorry.
He breathes, his words seeping into Vivian's very being.
I'm sorry for hurting you, for pushing you away, forever making you feel unwanted.
Then he drops the ultimate bomb.
But you're the only person I've ever loved.
Swoon. Vivian's so overwhelmed with emotion, she's crying even as she reaches the peak of pleasure. Afterwards, Dante tenderly kisses away her tears, his lips hovering near hers, silently begging for a kiss. But Vivian's not quite ready to take that leap, and she turns away slightly. Dante, ever the gentleman, steps back and respects her boundaries, but vows to be patient as they work on rebuilding trust. Vivian gets a call from her sister Agnes, who's urging her to come to Eldora to make nice with their parents, who are visiting. Vivian's torn, but decides to take the plunge when Dante offers to be her emotional support human despite the bad blood with her dad. The chapter ends with Vivian and Dante making plans to jet off to Eldora on Dante's private plane, because of course he has one. Will this trip be the key to mending fences with Vivian's family? Or will it be a disaster of epic proportions? The scene that packs the biggest emotional punch is when Vivian finally confronts her dear old dad, Francis, about his manipulative and selfish behavior. It all goes down at a dinner that's more tense than a tightrope walker's act.
You didn't treat me like a daughter. You treated me like a pawn. Your willingness to cut me off the minute I refused to do your bidding is proof of that.
Dante, who had been blackmailed by Francis earlier, warns him.
If you talk to her again the way you did at the dinner table tonight, if you hurt her in any way, if you make her shed a single tear or cause her a single fucking second of sadness, I will take everything from you.
Amidst the family drama, Vivian and Dante's relationship deepens. Dante proposes to Vivian with a rare red diamond family heirloom, saying,
Vivian Lau, will you marry me?
She accepts, replying,
Yes, yes, of course I'll marry you.
The story culminates in Vivian and Dante's lavish Italian wedding, where Dante reflects,
She was my wife, my partner, my guiding star, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
So here we are, treated to a front row seat at Vivian and Dante's dreamy wedding in Lake Como. The newlyweds share a tender moment amidst the wedding chaos, finally having found home in each other. Thanks for joining me on this emotional roller coaster, book lovers. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories like this one. Until next time.